The current spoiler warning level is Azure.
Friends and folks, for this episode, you're looking at a spoiler warning level of Azure. We're talking about a number of machines from Gundam F91. And that's it. So that was a while ago on GGP. Everyone should be good. Please enjoy the episode. Hello friends and folks, and welcome back to another episode of Mechanista and G, and this is welcome to, G-Quux post-movie week. I'm Six Detmar.
And I'm Dylan.
We've gotten past where the movie got us to.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the one of the new designs from the latest episode, but we're not going to discuss it here, because that would be the spoileriest of spoilers.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah.
Instead, we're going to roll some dice.
Yeah! Nice.
What is this? Remind me what the fuck this is?
I can't, and I have to guess is the problem.
That's not doable from this. Is there other sources?
Oh,
I might have to earmark this one for later, because I
is
don't
this a request
know that.
or a...
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's from a bit of material that is not very well covered in the West, and so don't have great sources on this stuff. I pulled up the page and it's this tiny blurry SD sprite, and I'm like, I can't use that. That's not all right. Well, I'll earmark this one. Aiden, we'll get back to it. I promise. Next time we do a request episode, I will have done some prep. But for now, I gotta reroll. Oh, sure, that's pretty doable. Okay. This is a request from Noel Queen on Twitter. I will go ahead and get you your first image. You know, let's go a little different this time. If it let me, why is it not pasting? Come on, don't be stupid. Oh, there we go. Copy. Paste. Paste! What the? Come on! What is going on? It just won't paste. I'm going to refresh the page, see if that helps. What is happening? I've done this so many times, and it will not. Oh, okay, folks. Boop, boop, boop. 1 sec on the video version. It seems like it has logged me out. For some reason. Of Figma.
Oh, weird, okay. Like, while we were on it?
Just when I came back this time. I should have noticed the bar was gone, but, okay. Now, there you go. Alright. Nice suspense and build up to that.
Alright. Den'an Zon.
That's correct.
Yeah, no,
This is the Den'an
that's
Zon.
easy.
Yeah, you know. They can't all be frustrating, I'm afraid.
Well, that's fair. I'm surprised we haven't covered this yet, huh?
Yeah, we haven't covered that much F91 stuff. We have, we've done some other, Crossbone Vanguard stuff, but broadly speaking, we haven't tackled that much F91. I mean, there isn't that much F91. It's the single movie, but...
Well, okay, so the Den'an Zon, it is from F91. It is the Crossbone Vanguard's sort of first mass production suit that they put out. and it's like the first of the tiny suits of that era. Because, well, it's small. It is, what is the height? It is 14 meters at the head, so, relative to even, like, one-year war guys, which are usually 18 meters, you scale it down to 14 meters, it's a noticeable height difference. If you've played GBO2, since they've added the, F91 stuff, let me tell you, when you are playing, like, CCA, era, well, because, they're high cost, right? So, obviously, late era, like, I think the Den'an Zon might be a 600 or a 650? I can't remember for sure. I think it's 650. So it's hanging out with, like, late Double Zeta and CCA and Unicorn era stuff. And it's really funny, because it is very small in relation to, I don't know, like, the Suzabi, or even a Gyrodoga and whatnot.
Might be kind of hard to hit.
Yeah.
Though I guess at that high cost, a lot of weapons track and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's not the worst. It's definitely not, like, overly dominating. It's interesting fighting them, though, because it is different, just because, yeah, they are weird. Yeah, so, okay, yeah, it is not the first miniature mobile suit produced, but it is the Crossbone Vanguard's first. Sorry, the first miniature one is the Heavy Gun, which is a Federation suit, which is
sure.
15.8 meters, so it's still taller than this. But, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so the Den'an Zon, starting with the head, we've got, the head is just a fucking, like, basically like a Stahlhelm and gas mask, right? It's like,
yeah.
That kind of military helmet. You've got two large eyes that are, like, very glassy. And then the mouth, is, like, it's got, like, where the nose would be on a human face, it's got, like, a snoot sticking out, and it goes around the mouth and cheek parts with an opening into, like, a vent there. You get a little bit of extra detail around it, like, towards the back of the cheeks, under the eyes, you get some, like, little tick marks, little ones on the like, front of the, little, snooty part. But, yeah. Head, though, is surprisingly not too descriptive. Simple head. If you are playing Gundam Breaker, everyone turns this into Darth Vader, because it is, while it has the Stahlhelm look, it's also very much, like, Darth Vader-y looking, that style. Like, especially just with the way it has, like, the ventilator open up, because, like, a real-life gas mask like this would have tubes going into the mouth, but instead of that, it's just got this big opening, which, very Darth Vader-esque in that way. But, for tubes around the neck, we do have a bunch of cables around the neck. You have two smaller ones nearer to the head, and then two bigger ones more on the top of, like, the pectoral area on the outside, and both of those connect into the backpack. The colors on this, I should mention, are interesting. So you've got, like, gray, like, a more grayish, with almost, like, a bit of brown for, like, the main armor, like, around the helmet and on the front of the chest. And then, like, for the face area, and then on the inside, like, this art here, it's more of almost like a green color. There's a couple of different arts for this, and in the movie it has a couple of different lighting situations it ends up in, so, like, when they're in space, funnily, they tend to actually light them a lot brighter, whereas then you have them in, like, the caves and whatnot. Speaking of which, yeah, so moving on, though, with the colors, you've got that brownish gray chest plate, which is good looking. It's got 4 vents on it that are, like, instead of, like, Gundam style vents, they're, like, located 2 on the side and 2 on, like, an angle. The 2 lower ones are a bit smaller, and they have grates over them, like a mesh grate. And it just looks very different than, like, a Gundam vent, even though, it's the same kind of idea.
They're like Federation, like, verniers, like leg verniers. I mean, even, other style leg verniers, because you see some more, like, that are actually verniers down here, but they look like verniers just with mesh over them.
Yeah. And then that chest plate has a smaller little plate in the middle, and then on the bottom, like, going towards the waist. So it's got, like, 2 smaller pieces of armor. Behind that, you've got mostly, like, the greenish armor. You got the upper torso section, which, pretty standard. It's got openings on the side of it that you can see a lot of mechanical detail in. You've got 2 little tick marks for, like, panel lining. It is a section torso, so you've got a lower section there that, it's only one lower section, funnily, and it's got, little cutouts on the side that are kind of for moving the side skirt and also probably for a little bit of, like, side-to-side movement. But, yeah, simple torso, funnily. One major thing that's a little weird, that I meant to mention is in the middle of the chest plate, you do get a little red piece on the top, and that has the, Crossbone Vanguard, like the sword and crossbones, logo on it, which, it's fun seeing, like, it's interesting, right, because, like, some people see, like, decals on mobile suits, and sometimes they go a little far, but, like, usually it's something that's not ever associated with the anime, but, like, F91 actually has, like, a lot of, like, little decals shown on the mobile suits in animation. Partially probably because it's a movie, so you can afford to, like, keep that drawn on every cell. It's just a more expensive production with more detailed designs overall. It's just interesting that they do tend to have, like, a couple of decals sometimes, though, on the Crossbone Vanguard suits. Moving on to the shoulders, so this was the thing I was able to identify immediately just because of the shape. So, with the shoulders, you've got a, kind of an interesting thing going on here with the shoulders. I'm trying to remember. It's a little hard to tell from the art. They're asymmetrical, right? Are they slightly asymmetrical?
I don't think they are.
No, okay, yes, okay, looking at it from the front, they are not. Okay, I wanted to make sure, because it's a little hard to tell because the outer spike is so much, like, it's big, compared to the 2 front ones, and it doesn't help that because it's at, your classic Okawara-like angle, obviously, this is in the foreground, and this is, bigger because of that. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'm like, does it have a bigger spike on one shoulder or not? It's just, little thing where I'm like, okay, I can't remember. I know the arms are asymmetrical in one way, but we'll bring that up when we get to the forearms. Yeah, so then, so the shoulders are, like, kind of like, they're spiked shoulder armors. They are, like, sectional. There's a initial plate, another plate, and, like, to the side of that, and that plate is the one that contains the spikes. It's got 2 smaller ones on the front, and a larger outer one, that is, at an angle going outward. And then you've got 2 more layers of armor then below that. You've got, the very bottommost layer has, like, if you look on the inside of it, you can almost see, like, sections of armor around on the inside that are colored in the green. Like, you could just see a lot of these, like, rectangular, plates on the inside, which is fun. Looks good. But yeah, so it's just like, Zaku spiked shoulders, but much larger, and then a spiked shoulder on both shoulders. Then, moving on to the bicep, you've got a, I would say this is the start of, like, the Okawara bicep that we see a lot in later things, like, G, Wing, X, Seed, etc. You got, just a very circular bicep with a panel line on the outside, and it's got, like, a little outer vent or thruster on it. We see this design a lot later on, like, post-90s Okawara, like, just for most biceps. Even on enemy suits, or ally suits. Usually on the Gundams, though, what it'll be is, it'll be a little more squared, and it'll have the vent section, as, like, a little separate piece on the outside of it. But, I'm just, this is a common arm, though. Joint, kind of a standard double joint, forearm, mostly in the brown-gray armor. The interesting thing is on the left arm, you've got a set of Vulcans attached, I believe they are. Are these solid guns, or are they beam? Let me double check. Yeah, okay, it is a dual beam gun, which would explain the extra tubes. Also, I guess it explains why it doesn't have a magazine, but, yeah, so you've got these little tubes running from the back of these little double set of guns on the left wrist. And then on the very outside of that wrist, you've got the beam shield emitter, which is just, for this one, a circular emitter. Almost, it's like, what are those cookies that I'm thinking of? Like the French cookies that have the cream in the middle, but instead of cream, it is just
macaron?
Yeah, it's like a macaron in shape, it's like squished, down, and it's like two pieces, and sandwiched in the middle you have the beam emitters in like gray and red. It just looks like a macaron to me. And then the wrist parts are a little bit separate from the rest of the forearm. You've got like two little sections of the greenish armor in the wrist area, and then you've got the actual hands, which have a hand cover as per usual, though the hand cover does have a panel line on the outside of it, and then standard hands, nothing special going on with the hands. For the skirt and the waist, the front crotch plate, you've got a little sort of, what would this shape be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a hexagon technically, but obviously like oblong in shape. Very triangular almost, but with the end cut off. Yeah, it's basically a triangle with the ends cut off would be the best way to describe that. And, longer at one point. Then you've got a thick panel line around the bottom of the waist, along with a thruster on the bottom. The thruster's in gray with red on the inside of it. Kind of a common thing with the thrusters. We'll see it on other parts of the skirt here. Like, on the front skirt armor, you have the thing where, like, the connection point, you've got the thicker part at the top of the skirt. But built into that thicker part, you do have, like, a little maneuvering vernier built in. And again, gray with red on the inside. And then at the bottom of the skirt, it almost looks like you've got, like, a little bit of venting, because it's got, like, a little slat opening thing going on. The side skirts, pretty standard, just wrap around the thigh, and then they have, like, a little box with another maneuvering thruster on the bottom of them, along with a very small, like, little thruster on the front and back of that little box that are sticking out of the side skirts. And then the rear skirt, just a large singular plate with a, like, sort of triangular piece on the back that has a small thruster in, like, the base bottom part of it, and then, on the outside edges of where it's, like, embossed, you've got 4 larger, like, squarish thrusters. Rounded squares, basically. And then you've got, like, a section at the very bottom of the back skirt that's just, like, these little slats. You can see a little bit of the underskirt from the front, and it does have the same armor design as the shoulders, too, where you've got the, like, the green squared sections of armor, which is fun, just having that consistency. For the thighs, round thighs, they do have a thruster on the front of the thighs, funnily enough. You can see them on the top, like, in the middle.
Yeah.
And then those have a panel line running down from them, and then it also has just a singular panel line running down the back. It does also have these little, like, trapezoids on the side. These remind me of, like, Oz mobile suits. Like, Kotoki loves putting these on his Oz mobile suits. It's funny seeing it here, just this little trapezoid with, like, a little dash in it. And those are just on the outside and inside of the thigh, right around the joint. The leg joint, again, just the standard double joint. You've got, like, the 2 little visible square sections, and you got, like, a little bit of inner frame that you can see below that. Pretty standard. The knees, you've got, like, 2 little vents on the top of the knee, very small little ones just along, like, the edge line of the knees on the top. And then at the base of the knee, pointing downward, you've got more thrusters. And then on the outside of and inside of the calves, the calves are the same design on the outside and the inside. So you've got, like, this little section that pops up around the joint, and then it goes in, and then it starts having your normal round, like, human shape. Though it does have a thruster at the base of the calf area on either side. And then
sort of giving more of a flared boot impression, I guess.
And then on the back of it, you also have, like, a little triangular section that pops up on the back of the leg, and built into that you've got a set of 3 thrusters, a round one at the top and then 2 square ones at the bottom, which is kind of fun, just having the 2 different sets. My presumption is any of these round ones have, like, a little bit of movement in there, like slight gimbaled movement.
Gimbal.
Yeah. And then the square ones are static. And then moving on to, you've got these large bits of, like, foot armor at the bottom front of these legs, and they are connected into the armor there. You can see, like, the little double connection point there. They've got little vents on the side of them, and then on the front you've got a thruster, like, opening there at the front, and then you've got these, like, 2 little triangular like slits in the side that might be vents, might be just really small thrusters, who can say. Then when we move on to the foot, you get green armor at the top of the foot. The foot has 3 thrusters, one located at the front face, that's more of a triangle shape, and 2 little rounded ones on the sides. The rounded ones are located in, like, little triangular cuts. The back of the foot, you've just got, like, these almost, like, bellowed sections of armor, just, like, layers of, like, inner frame colored, like, gray armor. God damn it. Gray armors. Non-video people, I accidentally started waving. Anyway. And then the bottom of the foot, in that brown-gray color, with these, 2 little, like, toe pieces that are the same color as the inner frame. It's, like, this, blue-gray color.
Kind of reminds you of the, like, the...
claws on the CCA ones I was thinking of.
I was going to say the claws on the Ground Gundam shield.
Oh, yeah, I could see that too, especially with having, like, just the different color there. And then...
Though I can't imagine they're for the same purpose, because you're not going to...
Yeah.
They're not long enough to dig into anything.
Yeah. Though, they might pop down, like the ones in CCA, like if they fold down and they have the little, claws on the bottom. Because the CCA feet are always weird. It's funny when you build, like, master grades of those, and you're like, oh, right, these have, like, little pop-down spikes all over the place. You have kind of a high heel design on this. It's not like a super high heel, but basically like the heel pops up and you have a double set of heels on the very bottom of the foot there, and then a
kind of platform
little thruster on the back of the heel there as well, or right above the heels, like on the armor there. So it's kind of interesting. Finally, the backpack. We've got a large complex backpack, so on the top of it, you almost have like a periscope camera, basically. Like just an additional camera that is sticking up off over the shoulder here. You can see it can like move up and down, and it's got like a tube on the back of it. Might be pneumatic or something for moving it. And then you've got just kind of a fancy backpack. It's, a lot of little holes in it. You've got little tubes going from sections into one another. 2 little larger two smaller thrusters in the middle, 2 larger thrusters on the bottom. The middle ones in the back are vertically oriented, and then you have the 2 larger horizontally oriented ones there. You can definitely see that these are on like little gimbals. You can see the little circle in there.
It's fun with the extra detail on them, how much they resemble like rocket thrusters of the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, definitely. Which is a fun detail. And then on the sides, these might be additional verniers. It's hard to tell just because they're so small and like the way they're colored in. They're not colored in red, but they're also such small details that, when they're doing the set type, they just might not have colored them that way. Kind of like the side skirt ones there. So you've got these like little tiny ones on the side that are on the top and bottom of the side. And they have tubes going into them, so that's fun. And one other note on the backpack, I'm trying to see if I could find where it is. It does have a beam flag emitter on it. Trying to figure out where that is on it, though. Because I know it pops the beam, flag out of the back of it.
I assume it's this part right here, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe it's just in the back middle. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, because they fly in the middle, now that I'm thinking about them in the show. Or when you play video games and they do the fucking attacks with them, which I always love. If you've ever played Gundam Extreme Versus, not the Den'an Zon, but the other one that, the Berga Giros, I think it is the one that's in, Extreme Versus. Zabine will fucking do a flip attack and slap them with the beam flag, which, I mean, if it's made out of a beam that it can be weaponized, it's just really funny.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how high intensity it is, but
yeah,
I always put these on in Gundam Breaker 4, I put a beam flag on basically all of my machines for no reason. It doesn't do anything in that game, but
yeah. Little thing I just wanted to show also, on the bottom of the foot, you can see more thrusters there, by the way. It's got thrusters on the bottom of either of the middle, a line there, like, centrally, and then you've got, on the bottom of each of the heels, another big square thruster. Lots of thrusters on this guy. I mean, this is the era of Okawara I really like, late 80s, early 90s Okawara, and he is very much about putting verniers on things, so...
Yeah, I definitely think it's the era of some of his strongest design, because he's gotten into the groove of things, because he's made enough stuff, but he doesn't seem like he's exhausted yet.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the Den'an Zon, though, for being, just like a normal grunt guy that's at the very beginning, it's a very neat little suit. Oh, I guess there is
Yeah.
one other thing to talk about with it. The shot lancer. Let's see. Does MHQ have a picture of that? I'm assuming they do.
I moved on to the next suit.
Oh no, I'm
so-
sorry.
No, it's fine.
Gotta...
I shouldn't have.
Oh,
That was amateur, but-
actually, a couple of details to show off from MHQ. One, the beam saber. It actually has a surprisingly detailed beam saber. The beam saber, I don't know where it's kept, and actually looking at the model kit of it, it doesn't have a place for storing it, so it might be one of those just nebulous, like, might be in a skirt or something kind of thing, like on the under the side skirts, just not noticeable. But yeah, it's a... definitely, this is the most lightsaber-looking beam saber I think we've ever had, really, looking at it.
It really is, yeah.
Which, you know, considering some other things going on with F91 and people's comparisons, is fun.
What do you mean?
Things like the music and whatnot, which, you know, John Williams is also taking the music from other sources, but it is funny.
I mean, I guess coincidences do happen, right? But, like,
Tomino's
never seen Star Wars.
Yeah, as he's famously said. It's very... I mean, he's not... That's the thing, though, right? He's not the music guy. Like, Tomino says that, and, you know, there are some elements of the movie that people draw on that are, like, aesthetic elements that are probably, you know, Tomino has input on. But then there's shit like the music, where, you know, John Williams is already doing, like, Gustav Holst's songs, especially, like, the songs from the Planet Suite, especially Mars, is the one that's very similar to the Imperial March. But, you know, then you have the Imperial March, and then you have the Crossbound Vanguard March. So, yeah. And then the other very famous weapon of these suits, besides having beam shields, is the Shot Lancer. And the Shot Lancer is designed for combat around space colonies. The idea is, hey, beams will just slice through a colony, so our primary handheld weapon should not be like a high-powered beam rifle when we're doing all of our attacks to capture these colonies. You know, we should be using a weapon that's not going to, cause an enemy mobile suit to explode. So, instead, they are using Shot Lancers, which have, 2 heavy machine guns on there. We don't know what the heavy machine guns are, but, exact caliber. But here's the thing. Like Gundam, funnily enough, everyone is so focused on anti-beam tech, this comes up especially in Victory, that when they small the mobile suits, they're rubbing them in anti-beam armor, but the armor is getting smaller and thinner. So funnily enough, it means that, solid physical weapons actually have power again. Just because the armor, if the armor is thinner and smaller, it doesn't matter what material it's made out of, it's thinner and smaller.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the things where, like, ironically, like, only in the situation where you're fighting, like, one of these or something, like, a CCA suit would do just fine, actually. Because the smaller caliber weapons wouldn't be able to do much to it.
Like, it does have the dual beam guns on the left arm, but that's really the only, like, ranged beam weapon. And again, if they're, like, just built into the arm like that, they're probably not, like, very strong, not very high powered. Otherwise it just has the beam saber, and then the beam shield, which is essentially a beam saber that is just emitting a large flat beam saber around it, And then, so then it has the heavy machine gun, and then also it has the lance, which can launch out of it. The lance uses electromagnetic acceleration, so it launches it pretty hard and pretty fast, and we see it in the movie, it just blows through, enemy mobile suits and will just, like, pierce them. But again, it doesn't cause them to explode, it just, rips them, and if you hit the cockpit, the motherfucker's dead. So, yeah. One other thing of note is the eyes on this suit. So, it's got the 2, glass-shaped eyes. There's a couple of fun things that they can do. One, the sensors can also operate as spotlights. We see this in the cave scene, when it is, when they're going inside of the colony. Or a little after. It's like when Seabook and Co. are, like, fleeing from them, and, they are in, like, the inner parts of the colony that are, like, cavernous, probably because it's, like, think it's like a recovered asteroid or something that they're mining out. So when they're going through that, the Den'an Zons light up their eyes like that, which is pretty cool. And that's it. That's the last feature. Just wanted to mention that. I guess the other thing to mention is when I say, like, the colors can be a little inconsistent, so, here's a good example. Here's the old model kit. It's gray, and it does have, like, a greenish color, so some of that can be attributed to, like, the lack of paint, like, for these, but the armor itself is just gray. It doesn't have, like, a hint of brown or anything in it. That's the old model.
Well,
obviously.
there is a variant that's kind of there's also a variant that's more like white-ish.
This
noteworthy.
Is the thing with all of these suits is they have a couple of colors.
Yeah, so it's also like, because the way the color blocking is on that one, I'm not sure which design it's trying to evoke, which color scheme, but I suppose it hardly matters.
Yeah. It's neat.
There's also the dark tiger colors, which are fun.
Oh, are those that's like the black and purple, right?
It's red and
purple.
purple.
Oh no, red and purple. Sorry, black and purple. Yeah, that's the black. Black Vanguard, and then the dark tiger. Dark tiger one's cool. Also has a unique shot lancer. Yeah. Different design on it.
Oh yeah.
It's got like a more of a.
True.
Like it looks like it has 3 machine guns maybe because it's or that's a sensor. I don't know.
That's probably a sensor. It's like looks.
Oh
like
yeah, it's got a different color on it too. It's like a bluish. Looking at it up close. But then the lance is like a bit thinner and longer, so it's like a pokier one. Should note that these lances are full-size lances because they are launched with electromagnetic acceleration. If you look at the back of them, that's part of it. Like it launches the whole thing, Which also is kind of fun because I wonder if that means you could technically wield it as a lance if you just removed it. But
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I guess there's no reason. Or, of course, I don't remember if it does this in the movie, but I think I've seen games where it does this. It can use the lance as a melee and just do like a small like pile bunker style stab with it, like close up.
Huh.
They also tend to show that off on models as like, hey, look, or on the old models, I should say, because we only ever got some crossbone Vanguard suits with the old models, which is unfortunate because I like a lot of them. I would love them to get modern kits. Anyway, yeah, so then, there's the Den'an Zon. Alright, so what do we want to talk about then besides the Den'an Zon?
Well, we should do, our old method.
There is actually one other, Den'an Zon related thing to share, sorry. The Tiger Squad there does have an alternate head. It's got a goggle sensor that can go over the eyes.
Oh, interesting.
Just alternate sensor. Forgot about that. Anyway, sorry. Surprisingly a lot on this little guy who doesn't make that many appearances, really.
I mean, it's a pretty intricate design.
Those goggles, by the way, you can see in G-Gen, they have a mono eye in them. So that's fun.
Yeah, that is fun.
I wonder if that's where the AOZ guy got it for putting on the later suits. Like the aquatic suits and whatnot when he has the little visor like that. I wonder if that's taken from this. I mean, he's kind of a giant nerd, so I could see it. Anyway, alright, now we can finally move on. Apologies. I
in our classic methodology, it's time to go back.
Yeah. The Dessa Type, which is a funny little mobile worker, developed by, or is it Buho is how they do it, so it's like Buch. I guess you're pronouncing it like very European there. Anyway, the company that makes all of the Crossbone Vanguard suits, their earliest one actually is this little Dessa Type mobile worker. So funnily enough about this company, by the way, they are the ones who when Banagher is working at the Industrial 7 colony, that's the company he works for. Like when he's doing the space debris collecting stuff on the side of the school, it's this company. So that's fun.
I know how it's spelled.
Yeah.
It's more fun to call them Butch Concern.
Yeah. It was originally, they had subdivisions such as Butch Junk Inc., Eventually, they apparently make a vocational school, which is really funny because they're the ones who. The vocational school ends up becoming the ones that end up making the, the Crossbow Vanguard stuff and teaching the pilots.
Sure.
So that's fun. Anyway, yeah, so the Dessa Type, though, is a civilian-use mobile worker. And, yeah, I mean, it is... You can tell that this is, like, where it comes from. If you look at the head, it is a very similar head design, but it's a bit more of a hard hat design, less of a helmet design. Has, like, worker goggles over it. Still has the same mouthpiece. But the eyes have, like, a goggle look, and the head is a bit more rounded, so it looks less like a soldier helmet. Doesn't have all the tubes. The torso, does have the same, like, sectional torso with the vents on it. The only difference is the corners of the torso now have 4 spotlights, which is fun. The shoulders, instead of the big spiky shoulders, are now just large armored shoulders that have, caution marks on the front and back of them, as well as a thruster on the outer part. The arms are a bit more square. They have outer thrusters on them. These actually are the ones that look very much like later Okawara ones, like in Wing and stuff that he does a lot, and Seed especially, just because of being more square. The forearms are interesting. The right arm has what I believe is like a little, like, probably like a little, like, cutter or something, right? Might actually be a beam weapon, but
it's a welding torch.
It's like a welding one. Yeah, it has a little scope on it, which is fun. That's connected into. Okay, so that's not actually okay. So there's a scope at the front, but I did notice this is just the fuel tank because it's connected into the backpack, and you can see it's connected into like a large tank. So that's probably where the welding fuel is, and then. It is handheld. Okay, it's not built into the arm. It's a little, the colors of the gun and the hand are the same, so I thought it was like a gun arm.
It's a little easier to tell in the black and white.
Yeah, it's being held. Okay. But the left arm, and this is the other reason I thought, if you look at the left arm doesn't even have a hand. It's just a little pinchy claw. Which is fun.
Squeeze in hand or something, right? Yeah. Is what you said?
Yeah.
That's your favorite thing?
It's said it once and it's my favorite thing. Yep.
Yep. You said it once. Yep. No, check the tapes. You said it one time.
I mean, I said it on, like, 1 or 2 episodes. That doesn't mean it's my favorite. It's also been so long.
You say it every single time that machine comes up.
Whatever. Okay. Moving on. The waist, you have the warning, the yellow and black stripes on the front of it. The front skirts are a different design than similar design, but they have larger thrusters on the bottom of them. The side skirts, slightly different design, wherein the little box has just 2 thrusters on the bottom of it. Rear skirt, only has, 2, possibly 3 thrusters. I don't know if that middle one is. It's hard to tell, because it looks like it might just be an opening without a thruster, like the 2 sides of it have. But yeah, just a single rear plate. The side skirts also have the warning labels on them. The thighs, pretty similar design, though no top middle thruster, funnily. And instead of, like, the trapezoids with the lines through them, it's just 2 holes. Still the same shape, but just holes. The knees are a different design. They look to be reinforced on the top and side. They have a thruster on the bottom. The legs are very boxy. The inside leg just has some armor. Like, it's got the little, like, pill-shaped cuts in it. And then the outer part, you've got the warning label going on with the paint job. The rear little opening, instead of the 3 thrusters, you just have, like, a double stack of, like, thrusters, one with a bunch of slats in it, and then one below that. The ankle armor is similar, but only armor, no thrusters in it. The feet do have the single thruster built into the front of them. Then you've got the warning label. It does have the 2 little toes, and it does have heels. They're not as prominent. They don't stick out back as far for the little double heel on the back there. And then the backpack, much smaller backpack, reminds me, funnily looking at it, of, like, a really cut down version of, like, the high mobility Zaku backpack.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because it's, like, a very small contained backpack, but you can see, like, you can clearly see where it, like, has, like, propellant and whatnot, like, built into it. You can see, like, it's got, like, a little tank on the side, like, that's probably, like, the main tank of fuel you could just see sticking in there. And then you've got, like, some tubes and these little, like, not even, like, major thrusters, just these, like, 2 little holes at the bottom, basically. Honestly, another way, if you attached, like, on this side, like, a pull cord, this could look like a weird little, like, motor, basically.
Sure.
It's a funny-looking little backpack, but, yeah. And, yes, so...
I like...
Oh, sorry.
Fun things about this design, is it's deliberately overtuned, right? Like, it's like, hybrid sensors in the goggle are, like, way too good for what they're doing, and then also its, like, power generator is, like, really strong, because they were like, hey, we'll make this under the guise of being a work machine, and we'll use it as a work machine, but mostly we're testing technology to make our actual combat mobile suits with.
Yeah, well, because, the Crossbone Vanguard forms in UC-106, and so they basically were, like, planning their whole thing that happens in F91 for a decent while, and that's probably why they have so many variants by the time of F91, in spite of it only being, like, I mean, the movie takes place over a couple of months, I think, but, But,
I mean, they had a solid 17 years to prep.
Yeah, so they probably just paid, they paid this company, they're like, hey, we want you to work on a mobile suit for us, but we don't want Anaheim or anyone else knowing that you're making, like, a combat mobile suit. So they just make this, like, cool worker, they use it, as an excuse to buy parts from Anaheim. So they show off their worker, they're like, hey, we're making this worker, but we can't make all the parts we want to make. Anaheim, can we pay you for, some more parts? We're just making workers, and so Anaheim's like, yeah, sure. And then they
Anaheim's like, okay, yay!
Anaheim's like, okay, yay, money, and then, Butch Concern is like, cool, and then they make a ton of mobile suits with it, like, proper mobile suits. Which is fun.
Oh, yeah.
I quite like it. Man, that's the other reason they should do the model of this, by the way. Like, they wouldn't do the Dessa Type, but now that I'm thinking about all the alternate colors, they bother doing that with all, like, the Victory stuff that had, like, weird MSV colors. If they did, like, a Re-100 of the Den'an Zon, they could do, like, the Dark Tiger one. That'd be so cool. Anyway. Do we want to talk about any other suits? Because this is, like, the weird thing, right? We're done with the Den'an Zon. I would say the
Den'an Gei.
Okay, so we can just go into the Den'an Gei. Okay. Oh, real fast. Let me see if I can find the picture of it. Apparently, in Silhouette Formula, Ghost of Formula 91.
Yeah, I was saving this to talk about after the Den'an Gei, because it's like a Den'an Zon with Den'an Gei parts.
Oh, so I didn't realize. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, we'll do that then. Okay, so Den'an Gei time then.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the Den'an Zon XM-01 Crossbone Vanguard Mobile Suit 01. That makes sense. So then we have the XM-02 Den'an Gei. And this will be, the second one. Real quick. And yeah, so the Den'an Gei is the second mobile suit. It's based on the Den'an Zon, but it was designed more for guerrilla warfare. It has a different overall combat role, and different design points. So we'll talk about it. Firstly, the head. You do have, like, the helmet look, but it doesn't look nearly as much like a normal style helm as the original one. This one's just a weird, like, this just looks like a weird military helmet with robot elements, right? Because you've got these, like, thickened cheek parts with, like, little vents at the base of them that have a tube going into these large ear antenna.
What is this? This head is giving something very particular, some very particular Gundam design to me.
I don't know. Gerbera Tetra, maybe?
I don't think that's it, but...
Okay, I was trying to think of, like, heads that have, like, a round shape and, like, having, like, the little cheeks like that. So that's why I was thinking if we look at it real quick.
It is kind of Gerbera Tetra-y, yeah, but there's one in particular that has, like, a normal, like, normal-ish face, and then these just sort of, like, long, like, mandible, like, cheek parts.
Ooh.
I don't know.
Don't know. But yeah, so the helmet also has built into it, you can see at the top, it does have Vulcans. Just head Vulcans. It's the only Crossbone Vanguard suit with head Vulcans, funnily enough. But yeah, you can just see the little cuts for them in there. The face is still in the green, and it does still have the two large, goggle-looking eyes, and then has, like, the Darth Vader ventilator face opening there. It might be different details in there than the Den'an Zon, but otherwise, same design there. The torso is where we get real different. So you've got still green for the under torso. You can see around, like, the neck area. And then, for the underbody, it almost looks like it's wearing, like, a armored, like, vest, because it's got, like, the armor is on the front middle of the chest, and it's in that, like, gray-brownish color, and then it's got almost, like, two straps running around to the back, and they're just, like, these little squares of armor, and they even have, like, little open, like, sections in between, like, the squares that are, like, smaller in there, so it almost looks like it's strapped onto it, like a bib, or, like, again, armor, like a vest. It's weird. And then it's got a little red plate on the top of the middle of the chest there that has the Crossbone Vanguard logo, kind of like the Den'an Zon having the red plate with the Vanguard logo. And then the rest of the armor, so the body is a bit more rounded than the Den'an Zon, like around the arm area. It's got these cuts in the side that have thrusters just on the sides of the torso there, which is interesting, along with some vents on, like, the underarm area. You can see, like, right above there. And then on the front of the chest, you've got the hatch in the very middle, and then on either side of the hatch, you've got these, like, circular, either thrusters or vents, I don't know, that have, like, these red slats in them, which is fun. And then two little, like, drill holes on either side. Very cool looking chest, actually, just because it's unique. The shoulders, we do have asymmetrical shoulders here. The right shoulder is the simpler one. It's just rounded armor, no spikes or anything on it, and it's got two, like, more sections of rounded armor beneath it. Like, so it's, like, almost like, three bulls stacked on top of each other, almost, is how it looks. Mm-hmm. The left shoulder, though, much more square, very, like, normal, like, standard Gundam style of shoulder. It does have an outer, set of, like, maneuvering thrusters on the shoulder, along with one on the front and back. This one, I'm trying to see what this one reminds... You know what it looks like? It looks like the new Gundam shoulder, actually, I realized. Like, the shape
it does.
And, like, the double, like, thrusters here. And the thrusters are cool because they actually... It reveals that there are two small thrusters inside of these little housings, which is kind of fun.
It took me... you know what the colors on these are giving?
Mm-hmm.
This is Gelgoog.
I guess it is giving Gelgoog, yeah. That's funny.
So...
And then the top of the shoulder has 3 grenades, quote-unquote grenades. They are, self-propelled grenades, because you can see on the back they have thrusters, so it can just launch them out.
What is the... this is something I thought I knew. What is the difference between a rocket and a grenade at a certain point? I know the difference between a rocket and a missile, which is guidance.
Okay.
If it's guided, it's a missile.
Okay, so let me see. A grenade is supposed to not be propelled by any force once it leaves the barrel, so these are rockets, not grenades.
But, like...
a rocket will continue to propel itself.
But, like, even in our world, you have the famous RPG-7, right? The rocket-propelled grenade. I guess rocket technically is short for rocket-propelled grenade. Is that what we're talking about?
Well, no, because then there's, like, rockets that are weapon rockets, right? And those are grenades.
Sure. I'm saying in this context, like in the weapon context, you say rocket, but what you're really saying is rocket-propelled grenade.
I don't know. It's weird. And then apparently the other difference is then missiles are called missiles because they can change their trajectory. Which I'm like, do arrows? Right, and I guess arrows do arc, so I guess they do change their their trajectory, but...
No, their trajectory changes, they can't change it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
gravity is the thing.
I think it just depends on what a weapons manufacturer wants to actually call it. Like, we can try to come up with, like, these clinical definitions, but I don't think they've actually been, like, thought out by the people making the things. Like, not even just in the fictional context, even in the real world context,
And then there's also, I guess one of the earliest examples I know of for rockets as a military weapon is, I guess maybe but it's the HVAR, right? It's the like rockets that they loaded onto planes in World War II, which were like missiles but unguided, right? Like planes would just like fly and shoot these straight ahead, and those are not grenade based.
Yeah.
Because
So
on a fucking
then
airplane.
my question is also, just because in terms of like a weird specific weapon, what is a Panzerfaust? Is it a rocket? Is it a grenade? Is it the way it is described on Wikipedia is it is a man-portable anti-tank recoilless gun. Is that what they call it? Is a recoilless rifle or gun, which is funny. I just don't know if there's actually like, you know, I think it just depends on where you are, who makes it, etc. Like, I don't think it's actually as specific a science as one would think, you know. Does it help that with Gundam? And even in Gundam, it's inconsistent, because sometimes the G-gun grenades on the side skirt can be launched from the side skirt, and sometimes in things, they are thrown as a grenade.
At what point does something count as a rocket as far as, like, propulsion, I think is the question. Like, the Panzerfaust, it's not using rocket propulsion, it's just using combustion propulsion, is that right?
Yeah, I think it's just...
Oh, in fact, it's a propellant charge. It's like there's a small explosive that makes it go.
Yeah, it's almost like firing a large
constant
bullet,
propulsion.
basically.
Yes, okay, that makes sense. That's definitely not a rocket.
It's just funny, though, right? Because Panzerfausts, though, I think sometimes are referred to as grenades.
And also
Like,
if you see a Sturmfaust in Gundam, those are absolutely rocket propelled.
Yeah. It's just a rocket at the end of a stick.
They do not work like a Panzerfaust.
No, they do not. This is what I mean, though, is it's weird. Anyway, it's got 3 of these rocket grenades on its shoulder, that you can launch from there.
What? What is a rocket? Like, broadly, in the most general... It says it's using jet propulsion to accelerate without any surrounding air.
According to the Oxford Dictionary, a rocket is a cylindrical projectile that can be propelled to a great height or distance by the combustion of its contents, used typically as fireworks or signals.
But that's not...
as an attack with rocket-propelled missiles.
Right, but then that's...
Rocket-propelled missiles!
Here's the problem with that. Right, but then that means the rocket-propelled missiles could meet the first definition, but that's not true, because what is considered the first ever, like, military rockets are, like, Chinese, like, well, it says they're gunpowder propelled, but how does that... They're not gunpowder propelled in mid-air.
No, they are
it's
only
like
launched from the base
gunpowder to
machine.
launch.
Yeah,
so they're not propelled in mid-air, so they're not self-propelled.
Yeah, welcome. I don't know if this is actually, like...
Language lies!
I think that language lies. I was gonna also say, and we're having this argument in English. The other thing is, do other languages distinguish between rockets, grenades, etc.? You know.
Yeah, because I was thinking of that's the weapon I was thinking of, is I knew of I'm gonna pronounce it probably terribly. Apologies for my bad Korean. But the Hwacha, are you familiar?
Let me...
With this fucking nightmare weapon?
Show me it.
This thing?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one I do know. Yeah, it's like a weird rocket ballista thing.
Yeah, it's like, what if you loaded, like, 100 arrows with dynamite on them and just threw them at people?
I can't remember if...
What the hell?
Actually, I can't tell looking at it. I'm like, is that a ballista? Or is that a, what's the other one? There's other weapons like that are big arrow thingies.
Yeah, there are. Wait, but this actually... Hang on. These might be rocket-propelled, because this isn't throwing shit. This is just holding them, and then I assume igniting them all at the same time, and then like a firework, they are pushing themselves along.
Oh, yeah, you know what? So I guess
that's a way that gunpowder could be used for rocket propulsion.
Right, because you probably just... yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, fireworks are a good example of this. Like, old fireworks, you know. Because, like, when you think of a modern firework, it looks more like what you expect a rocket to look like, because it's enclosed, etc. But it is propelling itself with a flame repeatedly, using, you know, other materials.
Language didn't lie, we just didn't think about this enough.
Still weird.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's still weird.
Anyway. Alright, now for the arms to get symmetrical, after that tangent. The biceps, you do have the little outer thruster on the side. This is also a common C shape for bicep. Squarish. You've got this little rounded part on the outside with a thruster on the bottom. Joint covers on this friend, so it does have the standard double joint, but it actually has the little circular covers, like, usually, like, Federation mobile suits tend to get mostly. I mean, Zeon uses them too, but it's interesting, because, like, they drop in and out of development, like, I think in, like, Zeta and Double Zeta era, like, whether they'll have these or not. But yeah, little circular caps.
Was very confused for a couple of seconds looking at armaments before I realized I had the Gerbera Tetra tab open, because you mentioned that.
And then we've got the forearms. Much like the Den'an Zon, the left arm does have additional armaments. It has a beam cannon on the wrist. It's okay. The wiki calls it a beam gun. But
so does MAHQ.
Do they also call it a beam gun? Oh, okay, I misread it. I thought it said beam cannon. Alright, so it does have a beam gun then on the wrist. It looks to be a single barrel one, unlike the Den'an Zon, but it looks to be much larger. And then you have a slightly different shape of shield. It's kind of like a coffin-shaped elongated hexagon. And it still has, like, the little emitters sandwiched in there. Like a less expertly made macaron.
Like a coffin.
Yeah, it's like a coffin. That's what I did say, coffin. But also I wanted to still...
I just don't know why you looped it back to macaron. It's not a macaron.
I wanted to. It was a badly made one. Look, what do you mean to me? Anyway.
I had it right the first time.
Anyway. And then the hand cover. The hand cover does have, like, a little line along the knuckle area. Hands are hands, though. For the waist, the frontal skirt part, kind of designed, speaking of Federation-y, a bit more Federation-y. You've got, like, the little bulbous section on the top, where, if this was a Federation suit, it would have a cut in there, and then have, like, a little V, but, it's very squared, though, flat on the bottom of it. The skirts are a bit simpler, just two rectangular skirts. They do have a thruster on the outside top of them, and then on the inside bottom, you have a little triangle cut that has, like, a little gimbal thruster in there. And then it also has, like, two little panel lines at the bottom. The side skirts are actually quite long on this guy, which is interesting. You've got a different design for them. At the base of the side skirt, you've got, like, the thruster, and then the large rectangular armor kind of hangs off the little, like, housing for the thruster there. And it's just, like, a large square block. Which actually has a thruster on the bottom of it, funnily enough. A little gimbal thruster you could see down there. That's fun. And then the rear skirt, just a singular plate. It does have a single large thruster on the back middle of it, and then on the corner angles of it, you have a thruster on the outside of them. And then just little panel lines and whatnot around that. For the thighs, kind of your standard thighs of the era, it's got, like, a little, like, squarish, or, what is the shape? I said it earlier. Trapezoid on the top of it, like, cut in. You can see it on the back as well, and then it's got a panel line running down that on either side, on the front and back. Then the joint, visible from the back, very similar joint to the Den'an Zon. Does have the joint covers on the side, much like the arms. They're a bit larger on the legs. For the knees, you have, like, a little vent on the bottom of the knee. The actual legs, you've got some cuts in the... It's an interesting shape. Like, they're rounded, and then you can see there's, like, a very thin little, like, gap between this outer leg armor and, like, the middle of the leg there. Just an interesting little shape, and it's got these, like, little tick marks that are connecting them. And then on the outside bottom of the legs, on the outside, you've got a bit more of an extended little cuff that has a really huge thruster on a gimbal in there. It's a really cool one, because like the earlier ones we mentioned, you could very much see, like, the old-style rocket influence there. It's very cool looking. And then on the back, you've got a double set of thrusters along the back of this, and no thrusters on the inner calf. Then you also have some more visible frame on the very back armor, right below the two thrusters, which is kind of fun. The ankle armor, or the foot armor, green color at the base, connected kind of the same as the Den'an Zon, where it's just connected to the bottom of the leg. It does have a thruster in the middle of it. and then the rest of it's just armor going around the top of the foot. The foot has some slatted vents on the front middle of it, on the top. And then for the lower section of the foot, you get a little gimbal thruster on either side of the toe. Then you've got these two little like vents around the sides of the foot, and then you have a separate heel. It's not really a high heel, but it has an interesting thing going on where like the upper part of the foot there is separated, and it's got like these like double sets of like tubes in there, which is kind of fun, like the mesh tubing with the green armor, and it's just like two little sections there, and then you've got the heel connected down to the bottom of that. And the heel's got like this little slatted bit of indentation armor in the back of the heels, and then looks like it's got the like grippy claws on the front and back. That might be like the pop down grippy claws. We don't know because I don't think it ever does it, but you know, it looks like that. And yeah, so then this is the Den'an Gei. Let me see real quick. So, oh, interesting. So we have one picture of the bottom of the foot on this where it's got some thrusters. It's got like 3 thrusters there, and then it's got like a rear heel one. The thing that's interesting is there's actually an alternate version of the foot that has a cover on it, which I think is just interesting because I don't know when we see this in the movie, but look, it's like worn around the bottom of the foot, and it's got it's got like little tread like cover. So that's interesting. I wonder if that's only for use like when it's on land and not in space. Oh, no, you know what? Is this supposed to be the thing that it launches on? Yes, I think it is.
Oh, like the little sled?
Oh, well, no, because it doesn't have the little thing sticking out of the side. I was looking at this image, and I saw the sled, but no, it's not the sleds. It just has foot covers. Weird.
Yeah. I mean, what if you're walking a place where you don't want to fuck up the ground?
Yeah, I guess it's fair. Oh, and then the backpack. Large backpack, it's got a lot of little thrusters all over it. You can see some on the back side, on the back parts on the side, like these little boxes sticking out. Below them, they have more thrusters. On the very back middle, there's like an arrangement of 3, 2 horizontally aligned, and then 1 vertically aligned, 1 in the middle. And then you've got 2 smaller gimbal thrusters up top that are still kind of large, and then 2 really large gimbal thrusters on the bottom. The fun thing with these is, like, it's funny, because you look at this and you're like, well, it doesn't have as much maneuvering verniers as, like, you know, the little Den'an Zon did. But then you look at all the thrusters, and they're all big on this guy. So it looks like it would be, maybe not as maneuverable, but definitely faster. Like, in a linear direction, probably. And yeah, so, interestingly, this does not use a Shot Lancer. I believe it's the only Crossbow and Vanguard one that doesn't have, like, access to one. Or at least of the mass production
this is the machine. This is the machine that's built for not fighting on home turf.
Yeah, this is...
The home turf ones all have a lot of smaller verniers, as you noted, for like smaller, precise movements and safer weapons. And this is like move fast, hit hard.
Yeah.
Who cares?
So it's got it's got the Vulcans in the head. We mentioned the 3 rocket propelled grenade rack on the shoulder, the beam gun on the wrist, the beam shield on the arm. It does have a beam saber. It's the same beam saber design as as all the Crossbow and Vanguard suits. And then the beam rifle. So the beam rifle, it does have, it uses an E-cap rather than an E-pack. So it has to be recharged separately. It doesn't use, like, the clips, funnily enough. It uses the older tech, which I find just kind of interesting. And it's got, like, a, little clear sensor on the top of it. This might be another type of, like, solid sensor, like a radar or something on the front middle there. Then you've got the extended barrel out, and it's got this, like, weird little ball at the bottom of it, which I find interesting. Just this little, like, ball with, like, vents on the side of it. It does have, like, a little adjustable side grip there, and then it does have a stock and a handle. It's a pretty standard-looking rifle. Just interesting, because, again, usually these suits don't use just, like, standard rifles all that often. And yeah, so the Den'an Gei does have a couple other colors, too. The Black Vanguard team, it's the black and purple. I believe this is, this would be, I don't know if this one's in the movie.
I don't think it is.
I don't think any of the early ones are, but these are like the Zabine colors, right? For like the later Zabine suits use this kind of color scheme of the black and purple.
Right. Right.
But the earlier suits, like the Den'an Zon and Den'an Gei, we don't really see in these colors. It does also have these, like, yellow ears, and interestingly, it changes the crossbone Vanguard logo. It goes from the red logo with a yellow crossbone and sword and green background to a red background with yellow swords. So, just think that's interesting. That changes that up a bit. Fun little alternate.
Not a color variant, but we should probably include the coolest thing it's ever done.
Oh. Is it? Yeah, kicking off the Jim's head. This is so good. I do love that. Does kick off the Jim's head.
It's a really sick shot.
It's
a Jigen.
Or Jigen.
God.
I said Jim. At least I didn't say...
I mean, it is a Jim.
I mean,
but...
yeah. It's the Jigen. It's the one Jigen I actually like, too, because... put that back again, sorry. Or just Control Z, I think it'll pop it back up. Yeah. This is the one that has, like, the weird stripped armor around the thrusters, which I always like. Because it's the one where it's, like, got the bigger thrusters, but so to offset, like, the weight of the bigger thrusters, they just remove the armor, and I always find that fun.
It's got a lot of fun shapes, and also I don't like the mint color, but I think in F91, where, like, nothing else is colored like it looks cool.
Yeah. I like the F91 Jigens a lot more than I like them in CCA, in spite of the fact that they are very similar. It's weird.
Yeah, context makes a big difference.
There's also a Black Vanguard colors version. It's a little washed out here, but we don't, unfortunately, have, like, great scans of these guys. It's from, like, old Silhouette Formula 91 stuff. It's hard to see, but this is supposed to be, like, the red and pink like the other one. You can see, like, it's a bit more pink. It's just a bit more washed out here. Does use the same rifle, though. Doesn't have any changed armaments, but wanted to share it just as a color variant, because it's fun. Yeah, I like this machine. I think the head is fun. I think I like the Den'an Zon more, but I don't think the Den'an Gei is bad. I think it's a fun little guy. I like the little... I like the little wings on the head. I like the asymmetry going on with the design. I like the leg thrusters a lot, as well as the backpack. And then I guess we'll bring up that
honestly,
weird
hard for me to pick a
combination
fave.
one.
They're both cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I said, honestly, hard for me to pick a fave. They're both cool.
Yeah.
In sort of slightly different ways. But yeah, we do have the, this is a Den'an Zon, but it has several elements taken from the Gei.
Yeah.
They're always taking things from us. From us gays.
Okay, yeah, so it's weird, right? Because it's got, like... It's like, mostly it's the head, like you've got these two antennae on the back of the head.
It's
got the rifle.
Got the gun and it's got the antennas.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to see if, like, the legs or the skirts change, but no, just that.
No, pretty much not.
Okay.
Yeah.
From the Silhouette Formula 91 manga. And then, yeah. Do we want to move on to any of the other ones? I can't remember. Did we already talk about the Ebirhu and the Berga Dallas?
I believe we, Berga Dallas, yes. What was the other one you said?
The Ebirhu-S.
I don't think we did. It's not on the list.
Okay, Ebirhu-S, yeah, no, we never covered it on Mechanista, so I think we should cover it just because if we rolled it on its own, it would be very lonely.
Okay, yeah.
May as well.
Sure.
Plus, I mean, it's not like a long episode, it's an average one, so let's talk about the Ebirhu-S. I like this guy. A lot too, so that's another reason why I want to talk about it. So yeah.
Short people got no reason to live.
What?
What?
What'd you say?
I didn't say anything.
I didn't hear what you said. I would need to listen to the recording, but unfortunately I don't have you recorded, I only have me recorded, so I can't even do that.
I quoted a Randy Newman song titled Short People. The primary line that gets repeated over and over is "Short people got no reason to live."
The fuck?
It's a comedy song.
Fuck you, Randy
it's
Newman.
Fine.
I'm short. How tall is Randy Newman? Height. How tall are you, motherfucker? He's 6 foot. Okay, he's taller than me by quite a bit. Yeah.
Damn it. Okay, maybe it wasn't a joke.
I know, he's quite tall actually.
Damn it. I thought he was short. That I was like, it's okay. He can make that joke.
I'm 5'4".
He's not.
I'm
he
short.
Can't make that joke.
Anyway,
short,
yeah. So the Ebirhu-S. Let me pull up.
That's okay. I wish I was short. So
this is a fun guy. I like this guy a lot, actually. There you go. Big. look, the forever struggle of do you wish you were shorter or taller? Everyone I know. And then I'll let you adjust that.
Okay.
Well, you're the one who's got the camera. I'll just start by describing it. So the Ebirhu-S, you've got like a helmet, but it's kind of got a beluga whale thing going on. It's got a bit of a melon, because like it grows out from the front there. It's got like a weird little central like camera, I assume, like a sensor of some sort. It's weird. It's got this like little thing built into the head there. This
Hardly the weirdest thing about this design.
Moving on to the face. The face is a weird visor. It's got like these. It's like a single piece of glass. You can see like the reflectiveness of it on that little zoom in. Or no, it's two. It is two separate ones. But it's got like these weird little shaped eyes with glass over them. It's got a face with like a little like a little hole in the bottom of the chin area, and these two little tubes running from the side. But again, if the other ones looked like had these tubes, they would look more like gas masks. This doesn't look like a gas mask. This looks weird. I like it a lot because it looks so weird. And then it's got like a series of vents on the cheek. The torso, kind of doing a similar thing as the Den'an Gei, where the torso armor looks to be like, it's almost like a vest worn over it. It's got like, on either side of the top, around the head, you've got these little like strap-looking parts connecting into the backpack. The chest itself has two large pentagonal-shaped vents on it, with some slats on the inside. Weird shape for that. The middle of the chest, you've got the hatch area. No Crossbone Vanguard logo, surprisingly. And then it's got like the smaller, what I presume is the door in the middle. The upper torso has that green color that you expect for a lot of these suits. However, the lower torso, instead of being green like the other two we've looked at, is actually in the more brown-gray armor. For the shoulders are weird. So they are asymmetrical, but not quite as much as the Den'an Gei. They have the same general shape, which is they are like sort of like angled out. What is the shape? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are hexagons, but weird shape to them. They're a little bit longer on the outer part of the bottom, and then the taller has like a shorter angle on the outside, etc. Weird shape for them. Then they each have a little like slat sticking out, very Double Zeta styled, where it's like this long, like sort of like piece of armor that's got a bunch of little fins on the bottom of it. Just very much reminds me of the Double Zeta. And then it's also got like a little pauldron sticking down and protecting the like little square upper bicep on either side. Where these differ is what details are on them. So on the right shoulder, you've got a small vernier on the front and back, and then you've got a little reconnaissance pod basically on there, which is really fun to me. It's a little like remote-controlled orb with two little antennae on it, 3 eyes on the front, and 2 little gimbal thrusters on the back. And it's just like
a sad face on the back. It's got anxiety.
It's a funny little like orb that can fly about and do reconnaissance, which I think is really cool. Actually, I like it. Here's a little for the video people. Here's like the little sketch of it when it flies off. It's got I love these 2 little arms it has to hold it on there too on the shoulder. Funny little guy. But then the left shoulder has a sensor package built into the front of it. It looks to be like just an arrangement of 3 cameras. And then it also has the rocket-propelled grenades on the top of it, similar to the Den'an Gei. Then for the arms, the right arm, same bicep on either arm, is just a square bicep. Does have a blockier base where it's connected into the torso. No outer thruster on these ones. Does have little joint caps, as well as the standard double joint. The right arm is pretty standard. It's got like a little vent on the front, or on the top of it, as well as on the bottom. Then it has a shield attached, but the actual arm itself doesn't have like anything special. And then a hand with a standard hand cover. The left arm though, it's got like a weird Zagok Akai hybrid arm. Like it's a lot more rounded on the forearm. It's got a mounting point for the shot lancer on the bottom of it, which is really cool. Actually, I love the look of that. And then you've got like a circular, thicker piece of armor, followed by the hand kind of going in conically. And then around that hand, you've got 4 claws. And then I believe these are these machine guns? Yeah, 4 heavy machine guns, like the ones that are on the, shot lancers usually. Just instead of having the gun on the shot lancer, the guns are built into around the hand. And then it's got, the 4 claws. So, which is fun. These are also shot claws. They are also electromagnetically able to be launched. It mentions that they have enough force that they can pierce through the bridge of like a Salamis Kai class cruiser, because I believe we do see them do that in the movie. So it's not like just like a little like, I can fire a little claw at you. It can pierce through a battleship, so these hurt. Moving on to the waist, you've got the middle crotch piece. It's got like a little pad on the top of it, 2 little vertical thrusters at an angle on the front bottom of it for the skirts. Bigger base on these skirts that have a thruster sticking out on the front of the armor as well as on the very edge side. And then you've got like, starting from the thicker part, like a little bit further out, then you have like the actual part that goes down on the skirt there, and it's got like 2 little vents. Very small side skirt. The side skirts and the rear skirts do that thing where they all look like they are connected together as like one piece. And along the very bottom edge of the side skirts and the rear skirt, it's all thrusters. You got 1 on each side area, and then 2 on each side of the rear skirt. The rear skirt also has 2 larger thrusters on the back, on the middle of either side, and then on the back middle, it's just got like a little attachment point. Then the thighs, same exact design as the Den'an Geis. The legs, standard double joint. You've got knee armor that's got a thruster on the front, as well as on the inside of the leg calf. You have a thruster on the inside of each side. The outside is kind of interesting because it's got like a large bulbous. Is it only on the one side? Yeah, it is. I didn't realize the legs were asymmetrical too. I knew the arms were.
Oh yeah.
It's such a weirdo. I love it. So the left leg or the right leg, you've just got like kind of a standard thruster setup where it's like, you get a bit of extra armor. It's got this little like sunk in section before getting some thicker armor on the bottom, and then it's got a thruster on the outside. The other leg though, yeah, you've got this like weird little pod. It's got a green stripe going around it, and it's got some thrusters located around it radially, 1 on the bottom and then 1 on the front and back. The front and back ones might just be vents because they have like slats in them. And then the back of either leg does have 2 sets of thrusters on the very back of the leg. You have some more visible frame connecting into the foot. On the front, no foot armor. You can just see pure inner frame. Got some green sectioned armor on the foot that is reminding me of something in this shape, and I don't know what it... Oh! You know what it reminds me of is...
Buster.
I was gonna say...
Buster.
What?
Buster Gundam.
Yeah, the Buster. The Buster's
thing
like
on its
little forehead thing. Yeah. You got it.
Weird. What a weird...
Yeah. It's just strange looking. It's just not what you would see.
It's so weird. I'm like, that's so far away that it is weird that we both got there instantly.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, it's like the Buster Gundam's little mask. Or, does it also have them on the shoulder? I can't remember. The problem with the Buster is I start thinking of all the Buster variants too, like the Verde Buster, and so I'm like, okay, which parts are on which? Because like the Verde Buster's got these on the knees, I know that. Okay, the Buster only has it on the head, and the side skirts I guess kind of have that shape too, but okay.
Yeah, a little.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Weird shape though. For the top of the foot here, and it's in like a teal green, which is interesting because I think this green might be. I don't know if it's meant to be the same green or not, because if you look here on the front, I mean it's shadowed so it's darker, but it's a weird color. Anyway,
it's. I think it probably is.
Yeah.
Especially on the back, they look similar.
Yeah, you know what? On the rear image, they look a lot more similar. It's this front image where it's a little weird, but again, they're probably trying to show that it's shadowed there because the arms and whatnot in the angle. You've got like a little thruster on the side of the foot on either side. You've got 2 little toe cuts on the front. The heel is just a single high heel on the back. It is a bit more of a high heel than all the other designs. Has some little like cuts of armor in the middle of it there. And then you've got like a little separate end heel piece that sticks out of the bottom there, the back. The backpack is weird, very rounded backpack. Has 2 tubes going around the back into the middle, which has a thruster, and then it's got 2 gimbal thrusters, and these are really weird because they're like huge thrusters inside in these little circular things, and these thrusters have 2 thrusters on them. It's got like a smaller like auxiliary thruster, and maybe these are also design. Little verniers. I'm wondering if it can like rotate around if necessary too. Like this is a weird. Suit.
The way it's designed, it seems like it could spin.
Yeah. It's a very weird shape. I like this guy because he's just. It's not an aquatic suit, but this is like the closest we get to like a Crossbow Vanguard aquatic guy.
I don't hate it, but like, I have a respect for the eclectic sensibilities, but it doesn't come together for me.
See, I love this little guy. It doesn't help that this is also the smallest of the guys. It's only 13.2 meters, so it's actually shorter than all the others too. It's a bit more squat.
Yeah.
For armaments, so I mentioned the heavy machine guns in the hand. It's got the 4 shot claws, which are cool. It's got the long shot lancer, and the shot lancer is just the shot lancer and the electromagnetic accelerator. No machine guns or anything on there. It's got the grenades on the shoulder. It does have a beam saber. It has, it also has a beam spray gun, for the right arm, which is a very small caliber little beam gun, I guess, just as a backup.
Sure.
Just like a little tiny gun for the right arm to have. And yeah, it's like, it almost looks like a cut down version of that, the Den'an Gei's rifle, right? It's got the same little like circular thing on the bottom of it. It's got, it's like you cut the stock and the barrel off of it basically and just kind of crunched it. Very, very small little gun. And then you've got the shield, and the shield is just kind of interesting because it's got a couple of weird things going on with it. So, large physical shield. It actually has... So, apparently the reason it doesn't have a beam shield is because of all the sensors. Because of all the sensors, that would cause Minovsky interference, like particle interference when you use the shield and whatnot, right?
Sure.
So it can't mount a beam shield. It needs a solid shield so that it won't fuck up its own sensors. And the shield has a large Crossbow Vanguard logo emblazoned on the outside. And interestingly... this has some thrusters on it. On the very bottom, you can see like 2 little thrusters on the bottom, as well as on the top. And then you've got like a little vent in the middle. So kind of doing like a little... It's not really a shield booster. It's not like very fancy, but it is, does have like little thrusters on it, which is kind of fun. And then, yeah, here's the shot claw. So the shot claw... I didn't realize this. It has 2 modes. You can fire the claws, which have their own little gimbal rockets. However, it can also launch the entire hand.
Huh.
You're just launching it like a fucking micro missile. Oh, I love that the machine gun barrels stay behind, too. That's fun. Makes sense that they do. It's just funny seeing, them stick out there. But, yeah. And then, yeah, like the other ones, though, it's got a beam flag emitter, and then... I mentioned the little recon pod, so yeah, no, this little guy's I like this little guy. I know you're more mixed on. I like it quite a bit. And again, just to show the other colors, we've got the Black Vanguard colors, so it's black and purple. Some extra yellow thrown in there, and then the Dark Tiger colors, which are always fun because red and pink, even at low quality, I like these colors. And yeah, all right. That would be the Ebirhu-S. I don't think there's a variant of that. Nope. So, that's everything.
Except...
Yes?
You're dying. That's the exception. No, we may have talked about a bunch of the Bergas, but a new one came out since we did that episode.
Oh, yeah. Also, real quick, yeah, that is a camera on the head. You can see it lit up here in this SD.
Oh, that looks really cool in SD.
Yeah.
Because it's already basically halfway to being an SD.
Yeah, it is a little guy already. So yeah, no, it's a fun little guy. Anyway.
But just to cover it in brief.
Yeah. Oh, right, yes, this freak from, what's it, UC Engage.
UC Engage.
Yeah.
There was a... So I'm using Gundam Wiki. I'm using the Breeze Wiki extension, by the way. If you aren't familiar, you should look it up. Basically, it'll just take any fandom wiki and create a version that has no ads. It has some formatting issues, but it's well worth the trade-off for it to not be covered in ads and also not crash all the time.
Also, it was back during episode 91, funnily enough, that we did this. I didn't even realize that. I mean, I probably did at the time, but that was in October 15th, 2021. Jesus Christ.
Long time ago.
Anyway.
But I was clicking around to see other stuff that we should cover from UC Engage. And I just want to note, I happened to click on the Doris Brand page, who's a character from Missing Link.
Uh-huh.
And I just want to point out that writing sucks and people shouldn't be allowed to write.
Oh.
The first sentence of her bio is, a woman with captivating proportions and an enigmatic personality.
Okay.
Don't let men write things.
Yeah, that's... what the fuck? That sounds like... I don't even know. I want to make a joke, and I don't know what joke to make, because it just sucks. It just sucks.
It just sucks. And also, I mean, listen.
Don't be weird.
But, like, in the scale of anime, not even that much, right? I mean, like, I guess, she's got her jumpsuit kind of unzipped, but she just looks like a lady. Can you guys relax?
God. Oh, there's one other Berga Giros we could cover too. I knew it. There is one in, it's just a color variant, but we could just post it, also. But first, let's do the, this one. So the Gillet Krueger custom. So Colonel, it's Gillet, Gillet Krueger. Gillet Krueger. Oh, right, this guy! I've seen him! Doesn't he, he gets shot in the face. Yeah, that's the guy that gets shot in the face, by Zabine. That's funny. Anyway. So they prepared a unit for him. I'm assuming he couldn't have, done it because he got shot in the face.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So it is a Berga Giros, that has a mostly similar to the base Berga Giros design. The main changes are, if you look at the shoulders, the addition of attachment points for, these bugs. They're weird. They are the, what are they called, for these versions? The hob bugs. So, they are two hob bugs, which are, smaller, or might be the same size, actually. Same size versions of the ones that are in the Rafflesia. He also has additional, armor put onto the left shoulder with a little relief of the crossbow vanguard thing to show his rank. Is the other thing. Anyway, yeah, so it's weird. It's got two bugs on it, and they do bug things. Apparently what happens is, they couldn't test them right. It turns out the strategic failure at the time was due to the estrangement of the child bugs, independent, indiscriminate attack weapons of the parent bug, which was, the carrier, and akin to the control tower for the child bugs, if it was shot down early. So, okay, apparently,
like, they couldn't use it because of estranged children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you.
Weird way of wording that. I'm assuming what it is,
they ran something through Google Translate and then copy-pasted it.
Yeah, this looks very Google Translated. I'm trying to, translate this into a way that works. Okay. Okay, what it's trying to say is normally the hob bugs, the parent bugs, would control the child bugs. However, the problem was if the parent bugs got shot down, then all the child bugs that were in there didn't work anymore. So they then were like, okay, we have to modify it so that the user can, control both sets of bugs. I don't think it ever got to that point. Because, well...
Mm-hmm.
Might shock you to learn this. The Crossbow and Vanguard eventually lost, and the Rafflesia was destroyed. And the guy who was supposed to pilot this got shot in the fucking face in the middle of space. Sorry, it's just a very funny scene to me. Because it's the one where there's two different guys getting shot in the face in space scenes that I think of, and it's this guy, and it's the one in Victory Gundam where it's the guy that was supposed to distract Uso and fucked up, and then Fuola just shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
And I always think of both of them. I didn't know his name was Gillet Krueger, though, which is funny.
He's a big fan of razors.
Anyway. Yeah, but otherwise it's got the shelf
Or I guess his
nozzles and
parents
everything
were,
else,
sorry.
so it's just the Berga
Yeah.
Giros. And then speaking of just the Berga Giros, in F90 cluster, we do actually have a variant. We've got a fucking golden one. It's just a gold recolor.
Oh. Okay.
I had to look and see if there were any other ones in that, just because, there's been there's the currently ongoing F90 stuff, right? So it's like, shit. There might be new stuff in... There's Fastest Formula, which is now done, and then there's, Cluster is the new version. Did Fastest Formula have any... I don't think it had any Crossbone Vanguard... No, I mean, it had 2 Crossbone Vanguard suits, but they were not these ones, so...
How old would Pesce be at the time of this of F91?
So Pesce... How old is she in the 1 Year War? She's 16 in 0079, so...
Okay, so she would be like 70... No, sorry, she would be... I'm so bad at math all of a sudden.
Sorry, what year is F91?
20 plus 4... She'd be 60.
Okay, I was gonna say, what year is F91? I always forget. Is it 120...
123.
Okay.
123. So that's 44 years later, so she'd be 60.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
But, she's a clone and stuff, and who knows, maybe she ages differently.
Okay. Anyway.
Because people aren't writing about the plot of UC Engage, for some reason, every time they introduce a new unit, and it's like, oh, and he didn't get to use this, I'm just assuming Pesce got it.
No, I think a lot of them, to be fair, in this game... I don't think Pesce would work for the Crossbone Vanguard, actually.
By that, she does sort of have a realization about who is bad and, in the setting. So I guess probably by that point she would.
Yeah, no, she's not working. By this point, hopefully she's like, ignoring Crossbone Gundam, the actual manga. She would have just fucked off to Jupiter at this point and just been like, I'm not dealing with anything around the Earth.
I mean, I know she worked for, fucking... Why can't I think of her name right now? Nanai?
Yeah.
Nanai used her as a fucking test subject. So she was still getting roped into that shit, after
Yeah, look.
however many years.
Yeah, well, look. It's fine. Anyway. Yeah, alright. Kind of a longer one now that we went over all that, but that's a significant,
she'd be
significant
30.
chunk of Crossbone guys done. Yeah?
She's 30 by the time of Shard's counterattack, and she's still just getting caught up in random fascists fucking, like... you know what? Maybe that's unfair to Nanai. She gave weird vibes. I feel like maybe she didn't have best intentions for the world, but also she was going through a lot at the time. Maybe she's a good person.
Who, Nanai?
But...
yeah. Well, okay, so Nanai is like... I guess this is the thing, right? She worked at the Augusta Institute. Is the Augusta Institute... Did that exist before the Titans used it, right? Like, that would be the question, because,
That's a good question, and I don't think we know the answer.
Yeah, probably
but,
not. I don't think Nanai...
Yeah, I mean,
Nanai doesn't seem like the type that go, yeah, I'm gonna work for the Titans. She just... In the game and whatnot, she just seems like, I'm a scientist who likes doing science shit.
I mean, she does defect from the Titans, but she defects from the Titans after they lose.
That is true. Look,
I think
I don't
she's
remember the
probably
story
a
at
bad
all.
person.
Because I uninstalled UC Engage because I was like, I was having fun with the story.
It's not a game.
It's not a video. The game. There's no game. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in it. I love all the weird, unique units. I think the stuff with Pesh, for all it's dumb, is really fun. I actually really like it.
It's the level of dumb. It's the level of like fucking Forrest Gump fanfic that I can't but love. It's so stupid.
It's fun. Look,
it's great.
I like Pesh. Oh, I know you know.
I like Pesh more than you.
Yeah,
I
know. You are number one Pesh much like number one Fawn Spock fan. You are number one Pesh Montan fan. It's just that stuff is fun. The problem is they stopped doing Pesh stuff and then they started doing all the UC other fanfic, which I don't care about. for all that there are complaints about it, I overall still enjoy UC fanfic of me doing my side story stuff, you know? Like, just doing my fun,
Sure.
like, goofy nonsense. I still like that. I don't actually think it's as fun when it's just someone writing Amuro and fucking Uso hanging out. That's just not what I... Like, I know that this puts me, like very different than a lot of people, but I don't actually want people who aren't, like, Tamino touching those characters. You know, and, like, Nanai doesn't have that much of a character, so it doesn't bug me when, like, Nanai shows up, you know?
Sure.
But, like, when it's just like, oh, we're gonna have everyone team up to fight, Shiroko, who now has, like, a Super Theo. I think the Super Theo thing is fun. The rest of it, I just don't care about that story stuff. And besides, I can just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube. So I uninstalled. I was like, nope, they're not doing any more Pesh missions, never mind, I'm done. I was having fun experiencing those as they came out, but they were done with them, so I was like, okay, well, never mind then.
One of my favorite gacha games, A Girl's Frontline, has had a fan effort. Like, fans have basically created not quite a flash game, but like, you know, a browser game that is just, here, don't play the game, just do the visual novel parts of the story. Someone needs to make that for UC and Cage.
Yeah. Like, they did the Pesh Monton story, and then they started doing, okay, now we're just gonna go through the history of Amuro and Char. And there was some fun animation in there, but, you know, whatever. It's mainly just an excuse for them to animate fights. Which were fun to watch. But then the next major event was, hey, look, all your favorite main characters are here, and I'm like, I don't want fucking Benager and Jonah. Why is Jonah here?
Yeah.
Don't act like he's on the same level as these guys. Even Seabook shouldn't be here, but Seabook belongs here more than fucking Jonah.
The top of the list of characters I don't want someone besides Tomino to write is Uso Iwin. I don't trust you with him.
I don't want them writing Judo either. I mean, I already have my annoyances with Crossbow.
Tomino barely wrote Judo, so
Look.
I get it.
Look.
I'm not saying they'll do a good job. I'm just saying I can't make the no one but Tomino can touch him, because, in fact, the stuff I like about him is mostly not Tomino.
Fair enough. But, still,
Yeah.
This is just not what I want out of the game, ultimately.
No.
I don't hate crossover stuff, but I think it's more fun when it's cross-universe stuff. When you're doing it as all UC stuff like this, it bugs me. It just bothers me. Though I did find out they apparently added a new navigator. That's funny.
Oh, yeah?
Sure.
Okay.
Funny name, because they all have... Remember how they all have the names? There's Air Save, Fia Storage, Mari Preserve, and then, of course, Vetra Custody. Now, Vetra Custody is a funny one because she doesn't introduce herself like the other three do. She only appears if you look in the menu, because the idea is that she's the shy one. Anyway, then they decided to add a fifth one. Saria Cabinet. And that's the whole reason I wanted to share her, is because her name is Saria Cabinet.
Also because it's really hard to tell which one they added later, right? Which one is not quite
Which one is not drawn the same as
as
the others, yeah. Fucking Saria Cabinet is so good. They were already having to stretch with custody, right? They had save, storage, preserve, and it's like, custody? And then finally, we have to make another I don't know, cabinet. You put files in cabinets.
Sure. I've done that before.
Oh, apparently they did actually add turn A stuff. That's fun. And they added Bellry. They added Lauren, Harry, and Bellry at some point, in Japan at least. I don't know if they're in the US one. Because like I said, I uninstalled it. But that's funny.
They also have Code Fairy stuff. And that one, I'm like, okay, I'll accept if Pesce's not in that, but I do want to see some crossover stuff with
That's who we want
because
together, right? This is the me and you sickos thing, because here's the thing. Code Fairy is an example of a Pesce story where it's really dumb and they're just having fun because they like Gundam. And
right, but that's in that way though, it can kind of like Alma can kind of do the same thing, where if you're like, and then Alma met Camille, I'm like, what are you talking
no,
about? That's incredible.
Yeah, like I
that sucks in the best way.
I want them hanging out. I want Alma and Pesh to hang out, and all the other noisy fairies, Mia and Helena.
The reason they can't do that is because Alma would
actually here's the thing. Killy needs more stuff. I love that they were like, hey, Remember how we had that
it was really
old
cool.
emblem for the Zaku with the harpy, and it was like really cool? What if we made a cool OC for this emblem? Because that emblem has existed since like the 80s. That's like an old 80s MSV one. And they're like, okay, it's gonna belong to a lady, and her name is Killy Garrett. And I'm like, yes. Anyway.
Where do they not have? Oh, it doesn't seem like they have the entry for her custom Zaku on the fucking wiki, which is too bad because it was like it is one of my favorite styles, right? Where it's like a totally plausible variant, but still something you haven't seen before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of do that. Other than like now, the upgraded variants are a bit fancier because you get an F read and all that. But even like the original like trio, like Alma, Lilith, and Mia, their original guys are all like simple like custom jobs, right? The Alma's high mobility Zaku is just fucking like. I don't even know if hers actually has anything different on it. No. Or it's got like some extra armor, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Here's the Killy Garrett, where it's just like, yeah, it's got the goof heat sword, and then it's also got a heat lance. It just has slightly weird armaments.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fucking cool.
It's sick.
Yeah. Fuck, I should play Code Fairy and I need to finish hard mode so that I can have Lilith as an operator in GBO2. I forgot I didn't do that.
I finally got it. That last mission on hard mode is ridiculous.
The Titania one?
Yeah.
Oh, the Titania is so cool. I hate that they didn't do that.
Cool.
They need to do more Code Fairy models. How the fuck are the Code Fairy models... Okay, you did the Efreet. I'm okay with that. I do like the Efreet Jaeger. But then you did the two fucking Pale Rider variants that in the game are a joke. It's like a funny joke in the game that they're like, hey, look, we got these cool prototypes, but they're not actually like cool prototypes. They're like the thing where it's like, oh fuck, these are prototypes that suck actually.
Which is
and
great,
I think that's good.
but...
No, I love that. I love that they were like, okay, so you got the cool Pale Rider, and then you've got another cool Pale Rider from a manga that is unrelated. And then they're like, okay, we have to do the other two colors of Horseman now, so we'll do the black and white Rider. And instead of making them also cool guys like the other ones, they were like, nah, they suck actually. They look like they're cool and intimidating, like they have a very unique appearance, and then it turns out that they're kind of shitty. The one can go invisible, but can't use any beam weapons or anything, and so all of its weapons are underpowered. And then the other one has a cool beam weapon that looks like cool and gigantic, but it's actually just a worse version of what the Heavy Gundam uses. And the thing that makes it look cool is actually that it needs extra ways of venting heat, because it generates too much heat.
And look...
And
I get that making a model kit of the Nomitas is not gonna happen.
No, but they're Zakus.
It's so cool.
They're original Zakus. I think they're original Zakus. Should have been. Not only that, but it's just weird because they haven't done ones of the base Zakus that they're based on, right? They haven't done a ground type high mobility Zaku. They technically have the origin kits, but those don't match the MMSV design. Which is just weird to think about. Yeah. And we also don't have a half cannon to do like that, I don't think.
Yeah.
Did they? No, they did the origin half cannon again, but I think that's also different in design again. So they wouldn't make it out of the origin kit, I don't think. And then the Zaku 2 sniper, that's all new. They would have to do it. Well, not really. I mean, it has different leg tube, it has a different shoulder shield, it's got a unique rifle, and it's got a unique head. The rest of it is just Zaku. And they did just do a new fucking Zaku. 2 years ago now, but a relatively new Zaku. So what the hell?
They gave apparently. I can only assume this is in UC Engage. They gave Alma. Let's see. No. I'm trying to figure out where this comes from, but before she got in with Code Fairy, she test piloted the underwater Grublo.
Oh, hell yeah. The weird MMC one. I love that. Stupid thing. Underwater bit-mounted Grublo. Anyway, justice for the Titania, though, because the Titania is so fucking cool. And it's not like a Camphor variant wouldn't sell even if it was pink and piloted by a girl. Come on.
Yeah.
You did the fucking F rate. If you're doing the F rate, you should do the fucking cool camphor variant. Anyway, that's my complaint.
Yeah, Helena really got the short. Like, I don't mind that fucking.
Oh, I like
F
the dom.
rate, but,
I like the dom nom.
Helena really got the.
Oh yeah, sorry. Right, I got them mixed up. Because Mia.
She just really got that short end of the stick.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Mia gets the short end on. They would not do the domnomides, but I love it. I do love it, but they would not do that. That one is a bit much. Fair enough. Fair enough there.
Yeah, that one's
a lot.
That one's a little. That's a lot of plastic.
It would be so. I would love it though. I would love it.
It would be so good.
Look, she's honoring the legacy of the Hildolfer man. It's so fucking good. Code Fairy
It's
rules.
Really good.
Oh my god, Code Fairy rules. Anyway, okay. Last episode, little end bit there, talking about Code Fairy. Code Fairy rules. Anyway.
Code Fair is so good.
Alright, Six, where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me on Blue Sky. I'm Sixdetmar, Saxdettmar. You can find me work at scanlinemedia.com or patreon.com/scanlinemedia. We'd appreciate your support. And then also, you can chat with us on the Scanline Media Discord. We do have a Mechanista G channel, and don't forget to send us any requests or questions or anything you have for the show. Dylan, what about
You
you?
can find me at LowPolyRobot on Blue Sky, and that's about it. Been a slow post week. One of the reasons is because we had a power outage and stuff, and I've also just I've had that problem of I started playing a game. I'm still playing SMT4. The problem is I'm playing it on my 3DS, so don't really. It's just one of those things I don't really get to post. Though I'm probably gonna play through Dark Souls 2 again because I like that game a lot, and it's been a little while, so it'd be fun to post it. Anyway, that's it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, with that.
From under our feet comes an attack from space?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Sure.
Peace.
Peace.